Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Today we are going to be finishing the aluminum ingot build that we started in the last episode. This is how we built it, in case you're just joining us. We've got a train bringing in bauxite from way up there on top of that peninsula, or whatever you want to call it, outcropping. We bring it in by train in 4 cars. Each of these train containers outputs into a refinery that, combined with water, makes alumina using the sloppy alumina recipe. That way we don't have to deal with silicon byproducts. Each one of those then goes into another refinery where we combine the alumina solution with petroleum coke, and that gives us aluminum scrap and wastewater. The petroleum coke is coming from over here, where we've got a big row of refineries. These are taking crude oil and using the heavy oil residue recipe to make heavy oil residue, and a little bit of polymer resin on the side. And then from there we take some of the heavy oil residue and we turn that into petroleum coke. All right, so these 4 refineries here are just making what we need to produce the petroleum coke that we need in order to feed the aluminum production. Now the aluminum scrap, these are going to be coming out at 480 per minute on each one of these refineries. So we need Mark IV belts. So I have a dedicated Mark IV belt coming out of each one. And I'm just stacking them up here on these conveyor stackers, or what do we call these? Conveyor what? Stackable conveyor poles. And then I have 2 lines of the wastewater coming out as well, because the wastewater is 168 per minute on each one of these. So I just merged two machines into one Mark II pipe, and then 2 more machines into another Mark II pipe. So each one of these Mark II pipes is carrying 336 per minute of water. Okay, so we have a couple things left that we need to do here. Number 1, or number 2, I guess we can do it in whatever order we like. We're going to turn all this aluminum scrap into aluminum ingots, and then we'll build another train station so that we can connect that to our train network and get it to wherever it is that we're going to be making aluminum stuff. I'm not sure where that is just yet, but we can at least build the train station and get it ready to ship out. And then this wastewater we are going to combine with the rest of the heavy oil residue to make diluted fuel, which we can see over here. We're going to do that using blenders. And then I'm also going to set up a small machine, as a helpful utility that's going to make fabric for us, since we have the ingredients we need to make fabric here. So that's that. And then we also need to get, the excess polymer resin. We need to send that into a sink. So I think what I'd like to do next is combine our fluids before we go to the smelting and so forth. So let's do that next. We're going to need 7 of these blenders. Let's see. I'm not quite sure how much space I'm going to need for these. But let's figure out a layout for one blender to begin with, and then we can take it from there. Okay, so we're going to need to pull in the water. So I think if I do that, I should be positioned okay for the water lines. Right, so the blenders can combine up to 2 solids and up to 2 fluids. And then on the output side, they can output solids or fluids or both. And they have kind of an interesting animation too when they're running. So these are pretty interesting. But what we're gonna be making is diluted fuel, which takes 5 of the oil, it takes 10 water, and it gives us 10 diluted fuel. So this is, as you'll remember, we're using diluted fuel over here in our plastic factory / power plant. The difference is that earlier, when I built this, we did not have the blenders unlocked yet. And that diluted fuel recipe only becomes available after you have blenders available, since that's the machine you need to produce them in. So when we built this, you may recall that we only had a recipe for packaged diluted fuel, or packaged fuel rather. Diluted packaged fuel, where we took packaged water and heavy oil residue, right? So on this setup, we had to package the water first and then feed the packaged water, and then that way we could make the diluted fuel in a refinery. But we don't have to do that anymore. That was that was a bit of work to get all that set up. So now we can just run the fluids directly into the machines to give us what we want. All right, so we're going to need 7 of these. So that's 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to need some more foundation out here. So let's slap down some of those. And we got one more little strip here at the end. Okay, so that's 7 blenders. Now, I only need 6.72 blenders, so we could underclock the last one. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it run at full speed, because I want to make sure that all of the wastewater gets consumed and that we never have any left over. So I'm gonna have it so that this can actually consume more than what we're going to be producing, if that makes any sense. That way the wastewater pipes will always be empty or nearly empty. And I could have the fabric running off of that same wastewater too. And maybe I should do that. So let me put a refinery in line here. And I'll do this first. So I'm going to get rid of these. I'll put these down again. Okay, and then we'll put our 7 blenders. And that way I can get the water that I need for fabric first. Oh, and I built it the wrong way, didn't I? Okay. Yeah, I'm facing the wrong direction on this refinery. Let's turn that around. I think that is aligned. Is it? Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So this one we are going to use to make polyester fabric. This is an alternate recipe. But this alternate recipe comes from the MAM, not from hard drive scanning. It's in the mycelia tree. Okay, which one did I unlock? Ooh, turbo blend fuel. We may want to use this one at some point when we have access to sulfur. In any case, if you go to the mycelia tree, the synthetic fabric is right here on this node. All right, just so you know where to look for that if you want to use it. If you don't find yourself using fabric very often, and you know, you can always just continue to handcraft it. I don't care. And I should move these. I should move all these machines out by like a tile. So let's do this one more time. Yeah, right there. There we go. Polyester fabric. And then the output of this, I am just going to run directly into a dimensional depot. I don't need to, you know, I don't need to maintain a whole container full of inventory. This is only going to be for my personal use anyway. So we'll just do it like that. And this way I'll always have fabric. I just need to get some of that polymer resin fed in here. And we're going to be taking 30 a minute. And then all the rest of the polymer resin is going to go into a sink. Where is that polymer resin? Oh, here it is. Okay. Right. So from here, maybe I should have this merger. Yeah, let me rotate this merger so that it works better for what we're trying to do here. Let me see. We could put the splitter immediately in front of it. I'll have to stack a few up. There we go. Okay. So this will go out into a splitter. And then this one we will run down here. Okay, so let's turn this one upside down. Yeah, and that can be Mark 1. I think that is level. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's hook this up to power. There. Right, and what do I want the fabric for? Well, talked about this a little bit last time, but fabric is used to make parachutes. I've already got one, but in case, you can use it for gas masks, the hazmat suit, and also the gas filter. And this is really what I want it for, is so I can make gas filters whenever I need more without having to go and hunt for mycelia and do all that sort of stuff. Okay. And then the rest of this is going to go into a sink, which I think I will place down this way at the end of this line. So let's throw in a awesome sink, and this will rid us of all the extra resin that we're making that we don't presently have any need for. that's a bummer. Alright. I'll go back to... I'm putting a Mark IV elevator on here, just in case I decide to use this with other materials as well. I'll have some additional input capacity on there. Okay. So that'll free up any, you know, any of the solids backing up these machines. And now we just have to deal with the fluids. Okay, and according to the planner, we have a total of 232 polymer resin. So the Mark III belt that we've got there will be more than enough to handle the rest of this. Okay, and then we've got all that set up. So we're good with all of this part. And now we just have to make the actual aluminum ingots, which we'll do last. Next we'll do the fuel with our 7 blenders. Oh, this is a problem, isn't it? Shoot. Am I going to have to move this again? I think I am. Alright. Because I need this, I need these water pipes to continue unimpeded. So I'll just move that forward a bit. Yeah, and then that should be okay. All right. All right, one more time. And then the dimensional depot. Okay, where's the fabric? Where's the fabric? Okay. Yeah, and then if I look here, yeah, I can see I'm accumulating fabric slowly but surely. Okay, good. So let's put down our blenders now. And we can put the blenders... We don't have to set these back from the pipes, or do I? Yeah, I do have to set these back from the pipes because I'm going to need a second row of them. Yeah, so I'll just line these up like I did before. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to need one pipe that's elevated and one pipe that's not elevated in order for this to work. Okay, but I'm going to start by just running... I'll just run pipe along the full length of this setup here. Alright, so with 7 machines, oh, let's see here. 100 a minute, and I have how much? 100 and... no, 300 and something? Yeah, so at some point I'll have to merge the outputs as well. But anyway, let's That'll feed 2. Yeah, we'll be able to feed 3 from a single pipe, right? With a little bit left over because it's 300 and something. And these are going to take 100 each, so we can use Mark 1 pipes to feed in. Okay, and then from here, there will be some output left over. Let's see, how shall we do this? Yeah, so I want another one, but I want this one to be... How do I... Right, like this. Yeah, these I find it's easiest to place them if you nudge them into place. Okay, that's great. So then we'll put another... Yeah, we'll just line that up with the first solid input here. Where are you? There we go. Yeah, that's not going to look pretty at all. So let's try this. Okay, so that should work. And then we can feed this to the rest of the machines. Right, so for this last one, I'm going to come back 2. That way I get a nice right angle. And then we'll put in the rest of the junctions. Oops. And feed in the pipes. Okay. Let's get these powered. I'll just put a pole in front of each machine like this. And I just want to power them up so that they'll start to fill up with fluids while we're working on the connections. And one last one here. Okay, diluted fuel. Right, and there you can see it. Once you select a recipe, it changes the color of what's inside. Okay, and that is right in front of this line. That's good. And then we'll connect that one like that. Actually, let's just do that. Okay, so that takes care of the water. Now, this is where the heavy oil residue is coming out. And you'll remember that I wanted to make sure that only 128 goes to making the petroleum coke, and the rest of it, which is 336, is going to go to the fuel production. So I put in this valve in order to limit it, right? So we set a limit to 128, and then that'll make sure that all the rest of it coming out here will be the 336. And I put a valve here as well. I don't know that I necessarily need that, but I don't think it's going to hurt either. All right, so let's stack up. I think we're going to need to stack 2, because I'm going to need to jump over this little fella in order to get the others. Right, so that's 3 of these stacked up. 2, 3, and I'll put another one here. I don't know if that might affect this pipe, so I'll just reconstruct it in 2 sections. Okay. And now we can do this. But then for the remainder, we can drop it down to just 1 level above. Nice. Okay, I'm going to change the build mode to auto at this point. All right, now we add our... Yeah, see, this is going to be a little trickier because I'll have to line these up manually since we're not at the same height. So I'll just move it along until I see that guideline appear, and that'll be not exactly in the spot, but it should be close enough that we won't be able to see much of a difference. You know what? Let's put this last one right where I need it. 1, 2. There. Oh, you know what? These can be, yeah, these can be Mark 1. Okay. And then I don't need this. Okay. And then we should be able to just connect these. Is it okay if I do it like that? Sure, why not? Hopefully, yeah, hopefully that's not too high that I need a pump on it. think we should be good. Yeah, so you can see the flow rate is 335. Yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of this valve here. I don't think we necessarily need to limit that one. We do need to limit that one, though. Okay, and now we've got heavy oil residue, but I'm out of water, and that's just because I have all this aluminum that is backing that part of the system up. Right, so if I came here and let's say we get rid of some of this scrap to unblock these machines, then we'll be able to get some more water, and we should be able to see these. Yeah, and then we can see these starting to make fuel. All right, and how much fuel are we going to get? We're going to get 672. So we are going to need 2 pipelines to handle all that. Or a single pipeline flowing in 2 directions, which I think is probably how I'll handle this. That'll make it a little bit simpler. Because then I don't necessarily have to worry about balancing. Right, so let's get our Mark II pipe. Okay. Let's see. And do I have room for an industrial fluid buffer? And then we'll put all of our generators over here. Yep, we'll put one right there. And I'll put another one on the other end. There we go. All right, so generators. We need 336, or I'm sorry. We need 34 generators, 33.6 to be exact. Let's go over here and see how we arrange these. I know we did rows of 8. If we have 34, or no, we did rows of 9 because we have 36 over here. So we could do the same thing on the other side and just remove a couple of them. But we also have to make sure that we clear this space. So let's see. How many... If I start like over here... fit 4 across. Yeah, looks like that shouldn't be a problem. Right. Yeah, so we can do rows of 4, and we'll need 8. We'll need 8 plus a couple extra to get the 34 that we need. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let's say 9. Yeah, so we'll do this row with 9, and then we'll do these other 2 rows with 8. All right, we're gonna have to do without the jetpack until we get power lines run over here. Junctions in between. Let's do it running backwards so it'll be easier. But I think before I finish building the rest of this, I'm just going to run some power lines, because otherwise this will be kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, look at that. Those were not lined up properly. There we go. Now they are. 3. I'll run the power line in the middle first. That'll give me the most coverage. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Should I put it in the middle like this? Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't want to connect the generators yet. I want to wait until they're full of fluid as well. So I'll just run this power line first. All right. Now the rest of this will be a lot easier since I can fly. Whoops. This part gets to be a little tedious, but that's the game. These generator setups are a little bit too big to use the blueprint designer, so although I have seen blueprints with like 2 generators that are connected together, but I don't know. I find it to be easier just to do it myself like this. All right, so we'll bring This one over here. 1, 2. No, these have to be linked. Yeah, these have to be linked on both sides. Sorry, let's try that again. Is that good? Maybe right there. Okay, back one more. Is that right? That looks straight. Yeah, that looks straight. Okay. Yeah, that's right down the center, so that makes that part easy. Let's see. This is going to go there. That's going to go there. Right, like that. Okay, now let's hook up the rest of the generators. 2. Oops. Did I get that right? Nope. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's a lot easier with the jetpack. These short little lengths of pipes are kind of tricky sometimes. And I know in 1.1 they have it so that you can make straight pipes, kind of like you can make straight belts where it'll automatically do 90-degree bends for you and stuff, but I still haven't tried to install 1.1 yet. I'll get to it at some point. Alright, now for this to be congruent on this side, we need the power poles right there. Right, so again, I'll just run the poles, and then we'll connect to the generators once all the fuel lines get full, so that we avoid, problems with the flow of the fluids and stuff. That was in the wrong spot. Okay. And then we just have to do this side. And then we need to do the smelters. And once we start smelting the aluminum, then the then the then the fuel will start flowing in. You know, I could make a blueprint with just a single refinery with a power pole next to it. That could save me some time. Placing power poles consistently is not as easy as it looks. There. Okay. So all the power poles are there. All the pipes are there. We just need the fuel. And in order to get the fuel, we need the smelters. So, 32 smelters. Remember, we have 4 belts, so that is going to be 4 smelters per belt. And where shall we place them? Is the next question. I'm going to have a belt that, shucks, these belts are going to cross. But maybe we make them on the other side of this. Yeah, I think we can probably do that. Let's try it. And it'll be convenient to place it over here. Let's see, is that in a good spot? That looks good to me. Okay. I think this should be enough. Well, hopefully that's enough space for 32 smelters. Let's take out this tree. There we go. Okay. And how much aluminum ingot am I getting out? 960. All right, so what's 9? Yeah, so I think I'll merge them into like two belts on the output. Okay, and I do have blueprints. So that's 8. Let's see. How are these getting fed? Yeah, so they'll get fed from this side. Maybe I should just put them down here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah, I'll put them in line with these machines. Let's see. How does that look? That looks okay. No, let me flip this around. I'm just looking like which direction the inputs are facing and so forth. Right, so we'll feed the material from this end on both sides. Yeah, so each of those belts will come down, come in here, we'll split it in 2, and then the output will come out over here. Alright, so we're going to need more foundations this way. Oh man, I messed that up. Let's try that again. Okay. And we got some room. Okay. Right. So then we line up like this. I'll come over 4 so that we have room. No, let's go over 8. That way we have room for belts to get in and out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There. I'm gonna have to change the recipe on every single one of these. You know what? I should have just I should have. I should have just changed one of the blueprints. All right. Pure aluminum ingot. This is a little bit easier when you can fly, though, because your copy pasting reaches farther. So that's convenient. Let me hook the power up. Okay. Yeah, so it's not quite as bad doing the copy paste thing when you have the hover pack. And we'll find out pretty quickly if we missed any once we get the material flowing in. All right. So yeah, I've got a bit of a mess here, don't I? I wonder if I can bring these down to ground level at this point. I think we can. I'll just try doing it like that. Right, so we'll use this one to feed all the way down to the end. And this is going to use up a lot of encased beams, so it's a good thing that we have a whole container full of them. There we go. Oh, crap. Forgot I had all this. Let's get rid of some of this. There. Okay. All right, and then 960 divided by 4 is what? 240. Okay, so we can have, whoops, out of each of these, we can have a single Mark III. And I'll just bring them out to here for now. And then we'll combine all the outputs together to feed into our train station. Actually, we probably don't even need to combine them at all. We can just, because we'll have 4 inputs on 2 train containers. And I think 2 will be enough. All right, so the first one works. Now, what happens when we try to do the next one. I mean, this could get ugly. I think this works. I mean, there's a little bit of clipping going on, but it's not crazy. It's kind of cool, actually. All right. Yeah, I'll clean this up somehow. This does look kind of hokey, but yeah, I'll get it cleaned up between episodes. Oh, and that's not good, and this power pole needs to move too, because I need to put a splitter here. Okay. There's all the aluminum. We're making fuel now. Still not a whole lot. I see we're getting short on water. Is this still producing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and that's okay. Like remember this by design, these fuel blenders are going to be occasionally starving for water, and that's okay. The point is that we use up all the water that's getting put into these pipes. All right, that's the main objective here, so that we can keep the aluminum coming. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what we can do is build a train station over here that will eventually join up with that main line over there. So let's add some more surface to build on. And we'll set up the train station. And I want to have it as far back as I can. So that was 5, that's 10 tiles. I need 4, 8, I need like pretty much exactly 10 tiles for the train station. Actually, let's go over here and see what, I don't remember what like the minimum amount of space that I need to have, because I want to have the train station facing this way and then turn and then make a left turn. And I need to have room in the back for it to loop as well. Right, so the loop takes 3 tiles, and then, yeah, and then 10 tiles. So 3, 10. Yeah, so if I give myself like 15 tiles, that should be enough space. Okay, so 5, 10, 15. Right, so we can put the, we'll put the main station right here. And that's 1. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3. How's that? That should do the trick. All right. And then we'll put 2 freight platforms. And then we'll put 2 empty platforms at the end. Let's see. Yeah, so 960 a minute. How many are in a stack of ingots? There's 100. So a train car has 32 slots, so that's 3,200. So if we have 2 cargo wagons, that's going to give us 6,400. Which is about 7 minutes worth of production. Yeah, I think we should use 4 cargo wagons then. I don't want the trains to be like running, you know, running nonstop, so that's why I want to do it this way. All right, so we'll feed that one in there. We'll feed this one in there. We'll feed this one. In there. And this one, we know where this one goes. All right. Now, we also need to take care of excess. So I might have to do these belts again, but let's see. So I want a smart splitter coming out of these. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so we'll have any coming out the right side and overflow we'll have coming out the center. Let me copy those settings. These are not powered yet. Yeah, and these are going to be loading the train, so I had it right already. Okay, need to power this up. Let's make that a Mark II pole. That way we can handle more connections. There we go. And now it's flowing. Right, so we could potentially have up to 960 a minute of waste. Oh shoot, I'm going to be clipping again, aren't I? All right, let's make Let's make overflow on the other side. So let's see if I combine 2 of them together. Two times 240 is 480. Yeah, so we can combine 2 of these into... We don't have a belt that can handle 960, so we'll have to combine... We can combine the outputs of 2 sets of these into a single Mark IV belt. One, two. One, two. One, two. Okay, yeah, and I can just snap a merger on top of here. Right? Not quite. All right. We'll get there. There. All right. And then this will be a Mark IV elevator. And then we'll need 2 awesome sinks. That's right in front of the line. Dang it. There. There we go. All right. So this will eat excess aluminum. So yeah, everything should be running now. Let's make sure that, well, almost everything. Not everything is going to be green. Right, some of these are backed up. Let me toss my extra ingots in there. Yeah, there they are. Okay, but let's just see how we're doing with the fuel. Fuel's producing. Tank. Ooh, tanks are almost full. Okay, so I think it's time to turn these guys on. Yeah, these are all full. So let's go ahead. We'll start from the end here. And this is going to give us another, I think it was 8.4 gigawatts. So by the end of this, we should have over 20 gigawatts of power available. Which hopefully will get us through the rest of phase 4. And then I think the next time we add power, I'll build a dedicated power plant somewhere with the most efficient recipes possible. Like for example, if we're gonna do fossil fuels, we'll do, I'll do like rocket fuel or turbo fuel or something like that, which would require the addition of sulfur. And if we do nuclear, then I'm going to have to learn all that as we go, because I've never built nuclear before. I'll have to do some research. If any of you have recommendations on what type of power we build next, I would be happy to hear your suggestions. Okay. Yeah, so 34 generators, and we need 33.6. So I'm going to underclock one of them. Well, first let's burn down some of what we have in these tanks, because I don't want these tanks to be completely full. I want there to always be space for the fuel to go. And again, for the same reason that we always want space for the water to go, just so that we can keep the production running. Right now, all these water pipes are full, which is not surprising. Okay, right, so this pipe is starting to empty out a bit. Looks like our fabric is filled up. Alright, but yeah, this pipe is not completely full, which is what we expect. This one is. Alright, and then what I intend to do with this train station is bring some rail out, and then I'll just merge in to these lines over to this line over here with this train, and to do that, or actually maybe I'll merge it over here. And in fact, let's do that now, and then that way we can see how signals work. See, transport, railway. Okay. Yeah, so this I'm just going to bring straight out. All right, and then here we'll make a 90-degree bend. Now, this 90-degree bend is going to be 1, 2, 3. Right, so we'll want it to start from there. And then we want 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Right, so you have to create a segment in your track. Okay, we'll reconnect this where you want the junction to be. Right, so if I'm coming out of this station, then I'm going to want to join this track here on the right side. Okay. So we'll have something like that. And then on the other side, going into the station, I'll just bring this down to here, and then this one will loop around the back, right? Right, so this one will go 1, 2, 3, and that's good. We're going to want that to join up here. Actually, maybe I can make this all one piece. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then that'll join up there. Let me get rid of this railing here. Okay. So now comes the tricky part. We need to put some signals down. So we'll want a signal here. And then I think no, and then we'll want a signal here coming out, and we'll put a signal here coming out, and then here we need a path signal, I believe. Maybe not. And then here I need a path signal. And here I need a path signal. Does this work? No, none of this works. Well, that one works. Okay, so that's green down there, and then the pass signal, I just want to repeat what I see there. Or maybe I don't need that. What if I put a block signal there, and I just leave that? And then I put a block signal here. And a block signal here. How we doing now? Let's see. What is this trying to tell me? Block has no exit signal. All right. Well, I'm going to have to figure this out. These signals don't work the way that signals work in Factorio, I don't think. So, I'll study up on how to do these signals properly, and I'll show you how it works next time. So, but until then, let's see how much power we have now. What is this power pole for? I guess I don't need that. Yeah, but you can see now we have 24 gigawatts of power with the addition of our new generators and all of our aluminum production. So I think we're doing good as far as power is concerned. Yeah, and then I'll figure out the riddle of these train signals, and we'll take a look at that the next time. And also, we will be starting to set up the Phase 4 factory in the next episode, which is where we'll be taking these ingots and turning them into aluminum parts. And we're going to start the very complicated production chain for Phase 4. So, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you all next time.